All right, pleasant good evening. John Walk here, Lone Star Christian Sports Network, and good to talk. Seems like we make this an annual thing.
Right.
Coach Joe Prude'homme, the head football coach at Texas Wesleyan University, and longtime former coach at Fort Worth Norland. And how you been?
Doing great. Doing great. Just wrapped up a really good season, and now we're recruiting.
So talk about that a little bit. I mean, obviously you had your best record since starting the Texas Wesleyan program, and talk about narrowly missing out on the playoffs. I was watching some of that stuff on social media. I was going like, that had to be a heartbreak for you.
Yeah, it was rough. It was really rough. As far as the season, it was great. I mean, we were 9-2. Very easily could have won all of them. We were in every game except for the Louisiana game. We didn't show up, and they played very well and beat us. But I mean, we were number 2 in the nation in scoring. We were leading the nation in yards per carry, 6.3. Number 1 in punt return. There's like 15 categories. We're in the top 10.
Wow.
Nationally, not conference-wise. And so we were just a really complete team this year. I mean, our offense was very, very strong. We were able to run the ball. We had a good pass mix. Defense, we held 3 different opponents to minus yards rushing. That's very hard to do at the collegiate level, including the team they ended up going to the playoffs from our conference. Held them to -7.
That was what, Arizona Christian?
Arizona Christian, yep. Yeah. Basically what it came down to is that the Raiders, which was Arizona Christian and out of Wayland, represent our conference. They voted, and somehow Arizona Christian had higher rankings than us.
Oh, wow.
Kept us out of the top 20. We ended up at 22. So it was that part was tough. I mean, it was really tough because if we got into a tiebreakers with the tiebreakers of the conference, we would have gone, or it would have been Ottawa. But we never got to that because we weren't in the top 20 at the end of the season. But when you beat Langston, I think it was around game 6 or 7, beat them by 28. They were ranked number 20. We were ranked number 19, and the two teams that were ranked, well, actually it was Arizona Christian and Ottawa, were idle. They go up a spot and we drop a spot after beating a nationally ranked opponent by 28. So and undefeated. Langston was undefeated at that time.
Makes you kind of like the high school days.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's not just them. It's a whole national deal, but they represent our conference.
Right.
And I was real disappointed in the representation.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that you've got the Rogers young man from Houston St. Pius that seems to be kind of developing for you.
Yeah, he's doing great. He started the last 3 games for us. First game was a little shaky, but we kind of expected that. It was his first start. Then he came in and did very well in the last 2 games. And, our centers out of Brook Hill, Peter Savoda. Our left tackle was Jonathan Nelson out of Lake Country. So there's a real TAPPS, flavor on the offense that they're at the end of the year.
I mean, obviously you're looking for kids that can play ball, whether it's public or private. I mean, obviously you're you're geared. Again, going to school, TK Garmin coaching at Nolan. I mean, obviously, your mindset. You've got that private school mindset, but bottom line, you as a coach, you've got to make sure you get kids no matter where they come from.
Right.
But what are you? What are you aiming on this season? I mean, what do you need to replace? What do you need to holes to fill and things like that? What are you looking for this time around?
We always look for offensive, defensive linemen. That's every year. Doesn't matter. You always go get those guys, no matter what. Linebackers are a bit of a priority for us. We're looking for another safety and corner. We're bringing a lot of people back, but I got to replace my punter more than anything else, probably, which sounds kind of strange. My punter from last year, Daniel Trejo, ended up transferring to University of Texas and starting for him.
Oh, wow.
He was a starting punter for him. So that was a big hole to fill. But we had Greg Blazer, who was a punter for us, his backup, and he kicked right with Trejo about a half a yard behind him and then passed him for a few weeks. And so I got to have that back. I mean, flipping the field and the punting is big. We're going to be recruiting guys that can run. They got to be twitchy. They got to be fast. And they got to be smart. We've learned those guys translate in a lot of different ways. I like multiple players. I don't like them to be a single skill position. I like them to be able to do 2 or 3 things. That way they can stay on the field whenever we make our adjustments.
It's got to be good for you to be here because, you're seeing 8 of the best teams, today and tomorrow. You've got some really talented teams, and Plano Prestonwood, a guy like Donnie Yanis who's come into the state of Texas, having been at Valor, a really good program. You've got obviously the job that Daniel's done at Parish Episcopal, and then even tomorrow, job that Mike Wheeler has done at Dallas Christian. You've coached against, Chris Hogan has done a great job at Cypress Christian. It's got to be really exciting for you to be able to come out and see this type of talent, while you're out here, doing the broadcast and everything.
Oh, yeah, it's always good to get a first-hand look. When you see them live, you see things that you won't see on film because typically you get highlights. And I always like to get game film if I can because then I know what they do the whole time. Do they give it that way all the time, or is it just in certain situations? So, yeah, any live looks are great. These guys coming out are very well coached. We found that the guys that we got were very well coached. And that's important. You want guys that come in, a little bit of polish on them.
What are you now? Sixth year, seventh year going to Texas?
Going into the sixth season.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been an uphill battle, but we've really gotten better, and every year we've improved, and next year we hopefully will be even better. So we'll see. And we're breaking ground on our practice field, which will then become our stadium on campus.
Oh, wow.
Which is great, and we really need that. Right now we're kind of a commuter team. We travel around in the Fort Worth ISD to practice and play, and that's okay. But having it on your own campus you got to have it, and that's where we're at right now. That's the next step.
Anything else I'm missing? Again, if we get a chance to see you kind of once a year type deal, and anything else exciting going on?
Well, I would say any chance you get to watch us play, come and watch us play. We're fast. We had 12 block punts. We led the nation in special teams touchdowns, and we just go get it. It's a very aggressive group. It's a very fast group. We're the fastest team in the conference, and that speed translates very, very well. It's just it's a fun group to watch, fun group to coach.
How do you from the NAIA standpoint? What type of kid? Obviously everybody keys in on Division I. And I think some people even know Division III being high academic. So what type of kid do you, not pigeonhole, but what kind of kid do you look at for the NAIA level that's different than the 1 and the 3?
We go to we actually recruit FCS kids, FCS and high Division II, because everybody's in the portal. All the ones that used to get the FCS offers, even some of the higher Division II offers, even some of the D1 offers aren't getting them anymore. So they've slid a little bit.
Got it.
And so you have so many coaches in the college ranks that are concentrating on that portal and those transfers. There's a lot of great kids that you can pick up. So it's interesting you say it that way. We went in and been seeing coaches all this week, high school coaches, and they'll say, well, I got some kids that can play for. These are your NAIA kids. And I ask them, well, have you ever been to an NAIA game? No. I said, I want your FCS kids and I want your D2 kids. I talked to them. We ended up getting about 7 of those guys last year. That's a big upgrade for the roster when you get that kind of talent that you're bringing in from the high school ranks. You're able to develop them. They know your culture. They're not coming in as transfers. Will we take transfers? Yeah. Do we concentrate on them? No.
Right.
But we really want to get those guys that are the FCS level kids, and we've been successful getting them.
So does that put in a situation that really now with the movement in the portal and kids moving around, that it's really even harder for the high school athlete to play at the next level? It is.
Well, it's a hard.
If you've got the skills, you're going to play somewhere. It's just finding the right spot.
Well, what it is the top of the top's going to get hit anyway, right? The cream of the crop is going to get picked. When you watch these signing classes, you'll see the cream of the crop. It's that next level of kids that are really close to that group, and that gap gets big as far as who all falls in right behind them. It's a bigger gap than you think, or not gap, but a bigger range of athlete that falls in there. Those are the guys we go after. We know we're not going to get the prettiest one. We know we're not going to get the top Power 5 guy.
Right.
But when you're stealing FCS kids, that looks real. You look different pretty quick, and that's kind of what's happening for us right now. Is we're not afraid to go recruit those guys. We go after those guys, and we feel like it's a good opportunity for them. We're a fun team to be on. We're fast. We're getting better. Why would you not want to play in a Metroplex? So that's why we sell.
So what I'm also hearing you say is that because you're getting those kids that are moving around in the portal, that even they're obviously a little bit better than what situation traditionally has been in the past. Of the JUCO kid moving from year 2 to year 3 to a 4-year program, you're getting the guys that are at 4-year program who are presumed to be better than those at the junior college level because they want to move and find an opportunity to play.
Right.
The portal is giving them the opportunity to find those spots, and Texas Wesleyan just happens to be a place where
We get a few, but I mean, we focus on that high school group. That's the ones that are getting left out. So we've gone to schools here recently where the traffic was heavy all the time, and we go in and there's not near as much traffic going through there as far as college coaches traffic, and they're telling us, "Well, man, we're glad to see you. You guys are always loyal. You're always coming by." And I said, "Well, we're going to build from high school first. We always are." Now the portal is kind of like a distraction off of those kids, the high school kids, by everybody else, and we're going to make sure that we take a good care of those kids, and that's who we go for. Will we take a portal kid? We've had a couple, but not many. Will we take JUCO kids? Yeah, if it's a good fit. But that's not how we make our team. That's not the main composition.
Okay, well, then maybe I misheard you then just a little bit. Okay, that's okay.
No. What it is it's allowed me to get those great high school kids that normally I had no shot at. Now I do. So I go after the high school kids.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's always a good opportunity, Dan, to learn.
Yeah.
And, again, we get to do it, appreciate you taking the opportunity to spend time and educate us a little bit. I mean, it's a brand new world. I mean, literally. I mean, it's just, what you're seeing now, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, when you started up the program, you weren't dealing with all this.
No. Oh, no. It's changing. It changes weekly. It changes monthly. It's like big changes. You're like, my gosh, what's going on? And all of a sudden, the world flips upside down. I mean, look at all the movement in Texas right now.
Yeah.
All the staffs that are getting let go. And it's crazy.
It's like I heard, the interview with they did with Ian McCaw with Liberty talking about, Freeze leaving, and his comment was, and again, really didn't know and understand. He said, we've got to make this decision on our next move because the portal deadline's coming up, and he said we need to have our coach in place because that's right now at that level that's more important than those kids that are signing during the winter period.
Oh, yeah, of course, because think about it. When they come in, there's so much pressure to win right now. You better get kids that can play right now, not kids that you have to develop for a year or 2 years. Are you going to get the leniency and to be able to go and develop them because the pressure's to win right now. So that's why the portal is so amped up. And I can't blame any coach who's going to go in the portal and get them. I understand. You have to win now. You better get college-ready guys. And if you don't, and you're going to go on some high school kids, are they going to be as patient with you developing these kids like you need to, or are they going to want you to win right now and you're trying to grow kids up? There's a fine line to walk there. So we've chosen the high school ranks. Others have chosen the portal. And I get it. Yeah. I totally get it.
One final thing. So we got a game coming up here at 7 o'clock, Parrish and Prestonwood. What have you seen from both teams? What do you expect tonight?
Well, I think it's going to be a dogfight. I really do. I think that Plano is going to really, concentrate on running the ball. If they have success running the ball, this game could be very, very interesting. If they can slow down the passing attack, it gets very, very interesting. Parrish is a complete team, offense, defense. They do everything very, very well. And Prestonwood does too. But what they can do is if they can control the clock, if they can put some points up and have some success limiting big plays, they got a shot. It could be a really, really good game.
Well, that's what we always hope for in a state championship is a competitive ball game.
Yep.
Well, again, our guest has been Joe Prude'homme, the head football coach at Texas Wesleyan, former at Fort Worth Nolan. And Joe, as always, thank you so much for your time and sharing with us, and enjoy it every year we get the opportunity to do it.
Appreciate it. Thank you, John.
Thank you.